Dude, I'm fucking nervous, man.
That intro, man.
I'm fucking... All right.
Do you want to do a combo intro where we each say a word of the combo? Like, hey, and then you say...
No, I do not. Hey, and welcome to episode 61 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm Saveun, and, well, I'm here because Nick isn't here. He's away at E3. We'll have him back on for the next episode. I'm joined with Blake.
What's up?
And we have a special guest, Rhys, from Grinding Gear. Hey, man.
Heck yeah.
All right, so we've got a shitload of news that happened over the last couple
We got
weeks.
E3.
E3 happened.
I heard E3 happened, yeah.
Yeah. Rhys, you might want to get a little closer to that microphone.
All right, yeah.
ZBrush R8 was announced and released.
Oh, shit. I didn't hear anything about this.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Damn, I stay up to date with that kind of
Yeah?
shit.
Is this your E3?
Yeah, huge updates.
You're up at 3 a.m. being like, I can't wait for the ZBrush press conference.
Release of the year.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, they're on R8, which is version 8 of 4. And
Oh,
everyone's just like, give me freaking ZBrush 5.
Yeah.
This is like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, they just keep teasing
Why
it.
are they keeping with that naming system and not just a straight up normal naming system?
It's like a very slight update. They only announced... Well, actually, they announced a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Vector displacement maps, a lattice,
Okay.
live booleans. Really cool shit.
Live booleans.
So you can create an object. Well, you know how booleans work.
Yeah.
You get two objects and you can either add or multiply, but you can actually on the fly have it deform the other mesh
Okay.
and preview it live. So, instead of making where you have a gun and you have a cylinder,
Yeah.
you can have this negative shape. You could tweak that while just leaving a cylinder on top. So you don't have to actually commit to making that shape.
Yeah. Dude,
Unless
that's cool.
you really want to.
Yeah.
I'm sure all your listeners know exactly what you're talking about.
No, they don't.
That's
they're
right.
they're Path of Exile fans, man.
They're used to complex stuff.
And new listeners, we had a huge influx of listeners after the Jonathan episode.
Yeah, that
Check
was
out
great.
our-
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, all our new subscribers, hello. We're going to have Nick on, I swear, on that next episode.
Yep. Well, I'm sure he's going to have tons of E3 stuff to talk about since he's there and
Yep.
talking to people.
Oh,
Stories, food.
Yeah. I was hoping they'd show up on the giant bomb couch, but
That's a big hope.
yeah.
Because they've got some big names in there.
Yeah, I know.
Like
Dave Lang.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer.
Yep.
And we'll have Jonathan back as well. We had a huge amount of questions in for Jonathan. I don't think we tackled all of them.
We got maybe quarter of the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have him on again probably after 3.0, because then he'll have at least some downtime.
Yep.
To continue answering those questions.
Yeah, man. We had burgers afterwards, and I was like, dude, we've got to have you on again.
Yeah.
And he's open to it. So we're gonna have him on. We'll have some more questions with him, and more shooting the shit. But for now, Rhys, do you want to kick us off? How was E3? What are you playing right now? Intro. Rhys, by the way, is the Rhys has been with Grinding Gear for.
Man, I've been working at Grinding Gear for like almost 9 years now.
There was some conflict between who was number one, the first employee, between you and Harry.
Man, I couldn't believe Harry was like more than a year ahead of me.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even present when I started working in Chris's garage. He was like...
He was working
busy.
from home or something, right? Wasn't it? I thought
Yeah.
he said, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But actually, how does that feel to you? Because you were working in Chris's garage to now working in this huge office.
Man, I first joined the company, I was like, is this a real company? It was like some guy's garage with some computers in it. And then, the power goes out because Chris's wife plugged in a vacuum cleaner or something. Like,
Oh, man.
There's like
But, no,
one extension cord running into the garage.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I
one
don't even
extension
know.
cord for all these computers.
Yeah.
We had just like cables everywhere, like hanging, halfway across the room and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had to duck under a cable to get to my computer.
Man, that's
Like,
That's awesome. I love that.
It was
kind of
fun
stuff.
though. It was real fun.
Do you have some stories you could share
Back from those days?
from the garage days?
Well, also, you might want to get a bit closer to that.
Okay.
Mic, so move your chair forward if you want. Like,
Is that better?
yeah, that's cool, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was working there for maybe 2 months or so before we moved into our office in Terangi.
Oh, okay.
So not too long, but it certainly felt like a very small company at the time.
Yeah.
And there was only 3 founders, me, Harry, maybe one other guy.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. And we had to literally use Chris's kitchen to microwave or whatever,
Man.
make some tea. Yeah. Those are good days.
I hear Eric had there's an energy drink in New Zealand called V, and Eric's addicted to this stuff.
He has always been addicted
Yeah,
to this stuff.
but didn't he have like a pyramid or something, just filled with empty cans?
Oh, man.
Pretty sure he's built several monuments made of pecans over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could easily do that after just a few days. Like, you walk past his office and you see the amount of pile up of V cans just after a few days. You're like, man, that's like a month's worth of V for me. Like, what's happening in there?
Yeah, I've deliberately stayed away from energy drinks myself.
Smart.
Coffee's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I work as a programmer, and my main job when joining the company was making the random level generation system. So I'm pretty sure Chris has shown some videos of version 0.2 back in the day. I think that was our first Christmas party.
This is
in
the
new
Witch
office.
trailer? Is that the one?
Was it the Witch trailer? Might have been.
Yep.
Back in those days when you
Well,
had...
that's what I remember, the first Christmas party being. It was in, Chris got a projector for it.
Yeah, we only had like
guests
2 character classes or something at the time.
in.
Yep. So I spent a long time making the dungeon, the Inca dungeon tile set, as we called it, which is the Val ruins, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first level. We had about 8 levels, and then Chatters, the giant skeleton, as a boss at the end. Yeah, we were so proud of that.
Good times.
Inverted normal maps.
You had
Yeah, it was great.
wait, what do you mean?
Don't you remember?
No.
There was this long period of time where all the normals on the tiles were inverted.
Okay.
And so it was subtly wrong, and no one could. Oh, I mean, the artists could see, but all the programmers and stuff were
Yep, this looks
all
good.
the lay people. Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
The tiles all line up mostly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did a presentation as well, right?
Oh
Talking
yeah.
about the,
So at the local New Zealand Game Developers Association meetup here in Central Auckland, Jonathan and I actually teamed up to do a little presentation about how the level generation process works. A pretty simplified view of it, but yeah, that was fun.
How is it now? Because you don't work on it like you used to.
No, I don't work on it like I used to. I probably spent a good 4 or 5 years polishing that and making it work right, and working with the level designers to, they would make all sorts of unreasonable demands. Then I have to go and make it work somehow.
Dude, nothing's changed there. They're always asking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Making the tools we have a suite of custom tools that we use to design all the levels from a high level to a low level, and I still have to maintain them because other people break them or whatever, or we may have ambitious new plans for crazy new areas that we have to think of a way to make it work using the existing system. Yeah, it's fun.
I remember having a conversation with you in the kitchen, and we were just talking about being old grinding gear developers.
Being old men.
Yeah.
And I was like, Rhys, I'm not even making models anymore. This is how far we've come. And Rhys was like, yeah, I'm not even making the level generation stuff. You were doing dialogue stuff now.
There are some days I hardly even do any programming because I'm just busy talking to people and organizing stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, Rhys is now sits over by the level designers, and you're
I have my own little department of level designers.
yeah.
That's good. They're pretty talented people,
Mm.
and they take the tools I've made and use them in weird and new ways I didn't even expect.
Yep.
And then things break, and they have to fix them.
you,
But
you don't. You
But their
don't
end
think-
result is good. Is the point?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it changing much? Like, that thing that you say they're using it in ways you didn't plan for.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good? Are you going back in and changing how level generation works?
It's usually good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a thing recently. Blake, you might know a little about this, but I think Josiah was actually stepping tiles like closer in, and so there was this weird overlap that was happening. Do you know? What was?
Stepping tile? No, I didn't see this.
Okay.
It was overlapping tiles.
Maybe I am just picking up wrong, like
Right.
on what he was doing. But okay, maybe I shouldn't go further with that. Yeah. Are you doing anything else at Grinding outside of dialogue and level generation?
So
You've been there forever, so I'm sure
Ah,
you've touched on like
I've
everything.
done so much random stuff. Yeah. So over the last year or so, I've been working, with 300.
Mhm.
I've been doing so much work with like quest design and getting all the NPC dialogue together that needed for the quests and things. Not writing it or anything, but like just working with the writer to figure out what we need, and then implementing all the quests and all the dialogue, making sure all the quests flow together. Working with the level design guys to make sure we have all the right quest locations and things.
Mhm.
And in some cases making temporary placeholder assets and things to
Oh,
that kind of stuff.
there's a story about. I think there's a little bit of a story about a temporary character you put in that a lot of players started picking up on and were like, "Who is this mysterious character?"
Oh yeah, Rhys, you want to explain yourself there?
I think there's probably several characters that ended up like this.
Oh shit!
I mean,
There-
I'm sure some long-time players will remember Piety in the prison before she had any dialogue.
Oh right.
Just a mysterious figure who watched you, then ran away.
Oh weird. Huh.
But even before then, when Act 2 was only half done, we had placeholder quest guy sitting in the Act 2 town using the character model that became Hargan in
Okay.
Act 3 eventually.
Ah.
Yeah. And I don't remember exactly what he said. I think he just gave you a quest or something.
Said here's a quest.
Yeah, he's like waiting for GGG to get its act together. Yeah.
Get us act
Literally,
together. What a
yeah.
pun.
Oh yeah, man, puns. Yeah. Was there another character you were thinking
The
of?
one I was referring to was in the encampment, right?
The one I was thinking of, I think, was in the Lionized, the second Lionized watch. When you go back, there was a character from the trailer, I think.
Oh,
That you
okay,
had just put
okay.
there.
Yeah.
But people had and it was only seen for like a few seconds, but people had seen it and like screenshotted
Right.
it and
So that initial trailer that revealed Act 6
Yeah.
and beyond, there was like just a split second, a couple of frames of looking into Act 6 Lionized Watch, and there was, instead of Nessa, there was someone else.
yeah.
And that was totally not meant to be there.
But I remember it spawned a huge like discussion and theories and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. No, that was actually a temporary asset that didn't look obviously temporary enough, and so
Yeah.
the person filming it just thought it was real.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. It all worked out in the end.
All right, I'm gonna cut this off. We're gonna talk more about Rhys a little later.
Yeah.
E3. How was it, man? I'm gonna go last because I've got some shit to say.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Rhys,
Okay, so I didn't like watch the E3 presentations live or anything, but there is one game
Oh yeah.
that I'm super keen for that was announced at E3.
I think I know the one.
You can probably guess, yeah.
Is it that new Mario game?
Odyssey,
No,
bro.
that wasn't announced at E3. That was announced ages ago.
Oh yeah,
No, there's another new Mario.
Oh,
game.
another new Mario game. Okay.
the Rabbids one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no. I'd like to take a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior, Monster Hunter.
Oh,
Specifically, Monster Hunter World. Coming to what? PS4, Xbox, and PC at some point later, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so keen. So keen.
Yep. Do you want to tell the listeners how much of a huge fan you are?
Man, I've been playing Monster Hunter since back on the PSP.
Yep.
oh shit.
I have literally thousands of hours played on the
I'm sure
over
was
the
it,
series.
I'm sure was it you or Mark playing Monster Hunter that was all in Japanese?
I have played several games in Japanese because I just couldn't wait for the English version to come
Yeah,
out.
you had to import a
Yep. I imported Japanese 3DS.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Can you read any Japanese?
I can now. Yeah, but so like the last like 5 Monster Hunter games have all been on the 3DS, but this new one is finally coming to real consoles, as
cool.
some people might say, which is great. Which means it's the first Monster Hunter in a long time that's going to have modern graphics.
And semi-decent, who knows, online realms.
Hopefully,
you know?
hopefully. Well, actually, the last couple of Monster Hunter games have had reasonable online play, but
Okay.
there was definitely a period where it was pretty rough.
So,
Yeah.
what is it about Monster Hunter that really gets you?
So, Monster Hunter has a really nice, tight core gameplay loop. Killing monsters, cutting up their bodies to collect items, crafting weapons and armor from those items, strengthening your character, and going out to hunt more powerful monsters. And it's great. And the basic combat, like just the core gameplay that fighting the monsters is so strategic and skill-based. Your character does, level up and improve, but really it's your skill as a player that allows you to progress through the game. An in-game character against like early game monsters can easily die if you're not skilled enough as a player and you haven't had the experience fighting the monsters and learning their movesets and everything.
Is it a little like Dark Souls bosses?
Yeah.
Where like you
it's
can't,
similar kind of vein to Dark Souls.
where it's like more the player's actual skill than the level of
Yeah.
the character. Yeah.
Yeah. The later levels are almost never like possible to trivialize. You have to know the bosses. You have to know what they're going to do and avoid their attacks. You can't sit there and tank,
Yep.
usually. Yeah. And I just really like the whole aesthetic of the game as well. It's this kind of medieval tech, light fantasy kind of setting. People running around with swords and lances.
Mm-hmm.
Huge ass swords.
Huge swords, yeah, of course.
Yep.
Fighting like dragons and fire-breathing monsters and all sorts of weird, crazy creatures and things.
Mm-hmm.
And just something about that kind of rural, rustic, just defending the small village from giant monsters. It's just quite appealing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can also like Ark. You can you can poison these dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, you can inflict poison and paralysis. There's all sorts of strategic items as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can throw flash bombs, you can create pit traps, you can... Yeah, there's all sorts of things. There's different, elemental weapons, there's different status elements you can inflict or get inflicted by as well. Like,
Oh, yeah.
sure, you can poison the monster, but some monsters will poison you.
Ooh.
And then maybe you want to spec your character to be immune to poison against certain monsters. Or whatever. So, it's a very deep game, actually.
What's the other worlds like open world?
No.
I mean, I suppose they can't be being on a lot of DS, right?
No. The world, every level was broken up into 10 or so little arenas, basically,
Right.
with loading screens between them.
Okay.
And the new Monster Hunter World, will be, I think the first one other than maybe the MMO, where they don't have that, where it is one massive continuous level.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
I mean, there'll be several different levels, but so
Yep.
maybe not strictly an open world
Right.
game, but it'll have several giant levels you can just run around and explore, and there's no loading screens.
But not just an arena that you load into and then you fight a monster and then you load out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Maybe some
maybe
of
an
that.
arena sort of simplifies it down a bit. Like they still
Yeah.
have interesting things going
Okay,
on, but
yeah.
yeah, definitely little segmented areas with loading screens. So previously, if you were getting owned by the monster, you could retreat through a loading screen.
Yeah.
So the monster couldn't get you. Take your time to heal up and stuff. No, can't do that in the new one though.
Ah, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
When is this new one coming out? I haven't seen.
early 2018.
Oh man, dude, that's the one thing that sucks with E3 is that everything is always coming out the next year,
Yeah.
or not even the next year, the year before, the year after.
Yep. So the other great thing with Monster Hunter is that it has random drops,
Ah,
and everyone knows how much we love randomness, of course. So you have the whole interesting item grind of getting rare drops or whatever, but you're not stuck behind them, because even though you might need rare items to upgrade a particular weapon or piece of armor, there's so many options that if you want to go grind for a rare piece of some rare item, you can. But if you don't want to grind, just make a different weapon.
yep.
Get some different armor. There's heaps of options. You're not like pigeonholed into anything. So it's kind of a clever way to have a randomized item grind without forcing people to get stuck behind it. Like there are ways around, and there's so many different monsters in the game. Like everyone's gonna find some rare item that they can use to upgrade some weapon or something.
And that
Yeah.
that creates like interesting stories when you're talking about it, saying like, "Oh man, I was just fighting some whatever, and this ridiculous sword dropped or whatever." It's like it becomes part of their sort of story, and everyone's got like a different experience.
Everyone who plays Monster Hunter has a story about, well, everyone who sticks with it through the rough opening, because usually the games start pretty slow, I will admit. But ask anyone who likes Monster Hunter about their first wall, the first monster that they really struggled against and had to work to overcome.
Yeah.
So it's always really fascinating. I remember my first wall back in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on PSP.
Oh man.
The Cephadrome, which was like this sandfish thing.
It's a sandfish.
Yeah.
One of them sandfish.
Like, you go into the desert, it's just swimming around in the sand.
Yep.
It's really annoying because like it swims real fast. You can't catch up to it. You have to wait for it to like jump out of the sand and fight it and stuff. Of course, I was total noob. I didn't really know the mechanics. And so I didn't even know the levels very well. I didn't know the monster's behavior very well. But I spent like 45 minutes chasing this monster around. Ran out of healing potions. And in the desert, the heat drains your health as well.
Oh no. Yeah.
So I was struggling, but I happened to be using a weapon, the hunting horn, which lets you play these songs that can heal you a little bit.
Oh man.
So I would run around, fight it, health draining from the desert, getting occasionally hit by the monster, have to retreat, sit there for 5 minutes,
Play a
playing
little
songs
song
to
to
heal back up.
That's great.
And I honestly thought I was going to lose because the monster kept running away. I didn't know where it was going. I ran out of the paintballs, which track the monster for you. So I couldn't see where it was going on the map or anything. I had to like guess, and I was running around, running at a time. Honestly thought I was going to fail. It was like, fine, I'll just like, in the last few seconds before time runs out and I lose for time over. Last few seconds, I'll just like go nuts. Just, no defense.
Yep.
Just run in there and smack it in the face. And with like 20 seconds to spare, I finally fell over and died.
Wow.
It was like the most intense, adrenaline-filling,
Oh my
amazing
God.
experience. And not many games do that for me. So that's my story about how I became a fan of Monster Hunter.
Oh man.
Shit.
Your life changed after that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. And that was just playing solo. Like playing multiplayer is also real fun.
Right. You mentioned there was an MMO as well.
Yeah.
Is that any good?
I haven't played it because it's only available in Japan and Korea or something. And
Okay.
it's a lot of effort to even sign up if you're not in those countries.
Right.
You couldn't get a VPN going on, man? I thought
you need a lot more than that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the Korean one, they require a Korean social security number to even sign up
Oh, jeez.
and various things.
Yeah, I would go the Japanese
I mean, I'm
route.
sure it's possible, but yeah.
They don't have one of those, like, those
So-
services for, like, the US where you can get a US, like, address to sign up for certain things. They
No.
don't have a Korean version.
Also, the MMO ones are super grindy, I hear.
Right.
Like, the mainline Monster Hunter games are actually really well balanced in terms of how much time you spend grinding and fighting and doing all this stuff. But the MMO ones they sound like a lot grindier.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was talking to this guy about the Chinese MMO, because there's 2 MMOs now.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a Chinese one, and he was saying, "Oh, the tutorial is really short, real quick. You should just play through the tutorial." I was like, "Okay, how long does the tutorial take?" He's like, 2 weeks.
What?
I'm like,
What?
this is not the unit of time I was expecting here.
I thought you were gonna say something ridiculous like 6 hours, but like
I asked him to clarify.
2
like,
weeks.
Why?
What?
Why is it 2 weeks? Surely, if it takes that long, you can like do it faster if you really try. He's like, no. That's playing 8 hours a day,
Oh my god! What?
and you can't do it faster because you're limited. After 8 hours, you stop getting XP,
Oh wow!
and you can't progress.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So,
Oh my god! Why do they? I don't know. I mean, you can't
so
answer why.
after
they're
hearing
doing
that, I was like, that game's probably not for me.
yeah, that doesn't sound like it's for
Not
a lot of
super
people.
appealing. I mean,
Yeah.
for people who really want a massive online grind, they can just spend years
Yep.
playing, then sure. But I already spend enough time on Monster Hunter as it is, so
Awesome.
yeah.
Come on, man. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, Blake. What do you got?
Oh, what have I got? Man, talking about like E3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, there wasn't a lot that really caught my eye, but
These new SKUs of Skyrim didn't get
oh
you?
man, I'm so sick of the SKUs of Skyrim. I'm just, I played that game a lot when it came out, and I played like one of the expansions, and it's a really great game, but like. I don't want to play it again or again and again. Like they keep like putting out for you too.
Do they even bother with like graphical updates?
Well, no, that's what. Well, I mean, yeah, that's what that last big thing was. Like the enhanced edition is like a massive graphics update.
Okay.
Maybe not in your eyes. Maybe you're just like, oh,
It looks like the same.
looks like a half of a GTA.
Did they even bother with that?
But like that's cool, and if I did play again, I'd play that. But like I have no desire to start again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, the MMO is cool, like that's fine. But from the Bethesda talk, the only thing that really stood out for me was it looked like there's going to be maybe a standalone DLC for Dishonored that just showed like the smallest amount of like. I think it was like a cutscene, but it was in game. But they mentioned going after the outsider, and he's like this sort of god figure in Dishonored. And I'm like, how are they going to do that? They're going to take down a god? This is crazy. So I'm all in for that. Like that sounds cool. But man, the thing that really caught me, which is ridiculous, and I'm probably not going to play it, is that XCOM Mario game.
Yeah. And why is that? Just because you don't want to buy Nintendo hardware?
Also, yeah, I'm not going to buy a Nintendo hardware. I mean, there needs to be more exclusives that I want to play for me to buy a console. Like with the PlayStation, I got now a decent catalog of stuff to play.
You need another 2 titles. For
I need
Nintendo.
at least another, to justify it. But yeah, dude, like, what a weird game out of nowhere. Like, it's an XCOM. It's XCOM, like, in Mario.
Yep.
It boggles the mind. And I was told about this. I was talking to Chris H. About this before I'd heard about it. And he was describing it to me, and I was like, dude, I think you just had a dream or something. Like, this doesn't sound like a real game.
Yep.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything about it. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that is basically it. It's like, I mean, the thing is that, you know, the rabbits from Rayman, they've invaded Mario World.
This is gross.
Yeah, they've invaded. Yeah, see?
What?
Yeah, they've invaded Mario World, and they're all like, there's one that's dressed up as Peach, one that's dressed up as like Luigi, and you as Mario, I guess, as like the team leader, have this like squad of rabbit people fighting another squad of. They look like they're rabbits, but they're all dressed up like edgy, kind of like 90s bad boy type, like Bart Simpson type. That's what I thought.
Slingshots,
skateboards, like they seem like
spiked up here.
Yeah, spiked up hair and like armor and stuff. And yeah, you're fighting against those in this like beautiful looking mushroom kingdom. It's and it's got the full on like half like you take cover, and you've got Mario's got guns. And
what gun does Mario have?
I don't remember what he had.
He throws fireballs, is what you mean.
There's
He's got a Glock.
He's got a Glock. Yeah, he comes out with an AK and just like jacks some fools.
It's not like the Super Mario Sunshine like water pistol thing. Or...
Yeah. He's got damn it, I can't remember what he's got, but I do remember during the presentation, Miyamoto came on stage with a massive like Mario ass looking like gun thing that is like goes over your hand, and it's got like a like, you know, those
it was one of those bullet guys.
Yeah, those
right?
bullet guys with the angry faces on. Like it was one of those, and the CEO of Ubisoft also got another one, and they were like fake shooting each other on stage. Like nothing was coming out of the guns. They just standing there going at each other. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
But
I'm sure this wasn't a dream.
See, that's exactly what I said. But yeah, that was nuts. Like,
you're not ever going to play this game. You just can't believe.
I can't believe. Yeah, I cannot believe that such a game exists.
I want to know what Ubisoft had to do to get a piece of that Mario license.
I don't know. I do not know. I mean,
they must be really desperate.
Shit, what, Mario or Ubisoft?
Mario. I mean, sorry, Nintendo.
Mario's desperate. He'll do anything, clearly.
Being a plumber nowadays.
Yeah, it's just not paying. It's all this
automation, man.
What other, like, Ubisoft Mario mashups do you want to see? Do you want to see a Far Cry Mario?
I want to see a Mario climb a clock tower and then jump into a haystack.
Yep, that would be cool.
That's what I want to see.
But I also liked... that Sea of Thieves game. Did you see that?
I saw a pirate-looking thing. I'm not sure.
There were actually two pirate-looking things. There was actually Ubisoft again did a game that looks like it's completely spun out of Black Flag, where it's all
I saw that
all
one.
boat stuff. Yeah, like that looked cool. I'd be into something like that.
Really? Treasure hunting?
Yeah. Well, I never played Black Flag, so
yeah. And you think treasure hunting's enough for you to pay $60 for a video game?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Well, see what else is there. Just the initial look is like, there might be something here. This looks like it might be cool.
Okay.
And they're all singing songs and stuff while they're fighting.
Yeah, that looked so cheesy when I saw it.
But Sea of Thieves was the other sort of more cartoony pirate game where like it's you and a crew of like real people, because this is like a multiplayer game, and you're piloting, you're sailing a ship, and you're hunting down treasure and fighting other people over that treasure and things like that. And that could be like that. I think that's gonna like tap into that sort of Ark experience that I had, where it's like me and my friends doing this thing.
Yep. But you've actually got a goal.
We've actually got a goal. Yeah. Yeah, those were the things that really stood out for me. I haven't watched all the press conferences yet.
What do we cover? Ubisoft and Bethesda. Those are the only ones you watched?
I watched. Anthem was pretty sweet looking.
Dude, that Yeah,
Yep.
that was something that caught my eye. For sure.
Oh, actually, something about Anthem that I thought was funny was I was talking to.
Don't say Bioware.
Well, yeah, I mean, this has got to do with BioWare, but I was talking to. Oh, damn it, I can't remember who, but they mentioned how their faces looked, and then I realized like, oh yeah, they're because there's that short cut scene, and I was like, yeah, their faces look alright, they look pretty good. Compared to like their last BioWare game. I'm like, so this is where all the good face animation got put.
I did a little bit of research about this.
Yeah?
So BioWare Edmonton is like the ground zero.
Yeah. Is that the
BioWare.
the headquarters?
I think that's where all the talent is, right?
Yeah.
And the team that actually did what's that game? Mass Effect?
Andromeda.
That was a new studio. I think it's like
Right.
New Hampshire or something.
Oh, it's very new.
Yeah, it's it's a new studio.
Yeah.
For them. So the actual
okay.
key people, I think, were working on Anthem.
Right.
You know, for this.
I was
reason.
wondering that because I just like the average person will think that BioWare is one studio, but there was a point where a bunch of, was it EA? I think that bought them or something, and they renamed a whole bunch of their studios like BioWare something.
I'm not sure.
Like there was that team working on one of the like a Command and Conquer game that got cancelled that got rebranded as like a BioWare studio.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the point is, the same team that worked on Mass Effect is not working on Anthem. So
Right.
that made me feel good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Anthem looked pretty cool from what we saw. I think like
Yep.
it does have a Destiny vibe.
I had Avatar vibes watching that thing.
Some people have said Horizon as well, just
Horizon?
like the world being this weird like where you're sort of closed off from the outside and there's like weird tech all over the place and yeah.
I wouldn't say Horizon.
I'd
Who are
s-
these people?
Well, okay, Harry.
Okay. All right. He's good company.
Yeah, I think like those were the ones that really stood out. I don't remember much from Sony's press conference except for like, were they talking about Forza and stuff?
No, because that would be a Microsoft thing.
Is that my see, dude? That's how it's a car game. They're all the same to me.
The Scorpio was announced.
Right.
For
Oh
sure.
yeah, actually that was a big deal.
Yeah, Jonathan was talking about that, and it was cool to hear him talk about that a little more. They had Path of Exile running on that thing in less than an hour. And he was saying it was fucking powerful.
You saw that talk he did with the Microsoft
Xbox
Daily. The Xbox guys. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yep. That's what happens when you come on to Front Seat Gamer. You know, you just go to the stratosphere.
Yeah, you shot through the roof.
You're right into like Xbox.
You're welcome, Path of Exile.
What else? There was Uncharted stuff, God of War.
I haven't seen any God of War stuff.
Like, what the hell, man?
Is it?
Anything?
Well, I mean, from last year's E3, I saw that
Sure.
stuff, and it looked cool.
One thing I was really excited for was Shadow of Colossus.
Oh right, actually, yes. Yeah,
I actually had chills.
oh,
Just
Wait,
watching
what?
it.
I haven't heard this. What is it?
There's a Shadow of you know the
I know the original. Yeah.
that game. It's coming out on PS4 and it looks fantastic.
Like a remaster or
like a bit. They did a remaster,
Or-
like a better remaster.
like a reboot or
It's the same story, I think. Same
Okay.
monsters, but it looks fantastic.
yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm excited
Oh,
because I
man.
never played it, and now I have a PS4.
Yeah, dude. So I'm in that same camp.
fantastic. Yeah, this is gonna be great.
oh man, I played the original way back when.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yeah, see, I hear that same thing from everyone I talk to about it. So that game was announced. It's not Eco. It's not those guys. It's another studio.
Oh really?
Sorry. Japan Studios is doing it as well as another studio. It's in the intro.
But it's
anyway.
not Team Ico or Ico.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Days Gone. Did you see that?
Days Gone. What was that one?
This is the running
Running zombie one?
Yeah.
I can't remember if I saw that.
Sony Bend. Oh, sorry, Bend Studios.
I can't remember. Well, how did it look?
Man, if none of you guys like saw it, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Campbell
I
really
remember it
liked
from last year with the running zombies and they're sort of swarming in that like
Yeah, and he was just mowing them down.
Yeah, yeah.
Inside that barn or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, it was more of that. There were gameplay demos apparently. It looks okay. I Yep, I'm just gonna take a stand and say it's okay.
It looks okay. Oh man, going out on a limb.
Yeah.
Whew.
But they did something really cool in it, like with the mechanics, where a guy picked up a bear trap. Like he went into a camp, picked up a bear trap, put it, like set it up in these bushes, walked over behind a tent, threw a rock at the sign close to where the bear trap was. A guy went to investigate, see where that sound came from. And then his foot was caught in the bear trap. And then
nice.
he was like, help, help. We're just yelling out. And then everyone else kind of ran towards to help him. And then it kind of cleared a path for him to proceed. So that's
was interesting. So he didn't mow him down or anything.
No.
He just snuck past.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was awesome. He caused a distraction, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
So that looks interesting. I haven't seen a game doing that before.
Yeah, because I mean, the sprinting zombies is one thing, but it's still just like, I'm mowing down zombies. Like, it's kind of not a big deal. But if there's like distracting actual people, and like your main goal is not to just kill everyone, it's to just like get through. Yeah, that's quite interesting. That's Last of Us type stuff, isn't it?
Just thinking that.
Yeah. It's a good formula, man. People are the bad guys.
People are the real monsters.
yeah.
People are the real zombies.
Anyway, that trailer was really cool. But I'm such a visual junkie that when I was looking at it, I was like, that freaking grass. It's not. Anyway, I shouldn't I shouldn't dwell on it too much.
What did you think of? Did you see the new Metro game?
Yeah.
What did you think of those visuals?
It looked really good.
Cool. So did I. I thought it looked really good too.
It's like going open world.
Yeah.
I never got into the Metro games.
I tried to, but it was so. It was. I never played the second Metro game, but the first one was so sort of. It didn't have the mechanics that it looked like it did. Like it made it seem like it was a game where you should be sneaking around in the dark, but there was basically no sneak mechanics.
Yeah.
It was like as soon as you entered a radius of an enemy, they knew where you were. Yep. And just came at you.
Yeah, that bothers me, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's an old game now, so I guess I don't know. I guess that's kind of acceptable, back then,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It still happens.
Yeah.
We should probably. Is there anything else I'm missing from E3?
Nothing else that stuck out for me, at least.
No, just some Monster Hunter.
You don't realize how big that news was for me.
I saw the announcement. I was like, I know who's gonna love this.
For so long, this was Nintendo exclusive.
Yep.
Monster Hunters.
Yep.
Now,
you know what I love.
Spreading.
You know what I love about the internet. It's like the Twitch comments when that game.
Oh
shit,
yeah.
It's fucking golden.
Oh yeah.
All right. While I'm here hosting, I'm going to answer this question that came over on. It arrived on our WordPress site, frontseatcast.wordpress.com. I think that's the website.
Frontseatgamer.wordpress.
there you go. And it was from Travestein 1990.
I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
This is the one I was going to save for when Nick was on.
Okay.
But it's fine. Yeah, go for it, man.
Because it ends up just being me defending myself.
Yeah.
And so I need to defend myself right now.
Saveun 10 minutes to defend himself.
Yeah. So he writes, how can a person in game development agree with the philosophy that stories in video games are as important as stories in porn? That's just crazy.
I know, porn stories are way more important.
Now, Rhys, do you have an opinion on this?
I'm definitely a fan of games with a strong story.
And what's an example of a game with a strong story for you?
Like The Last of Us.
I agree, and that's like one of the best like stories in a video game. Firewatch for me was another one. Now when I I'm just freaking trying to defend myself. When it comes to stories in video games, it's fine. Those games are like pretty high tier, right? But I compare it to stories in books and like movies. That's the spectrum of stories, right? And I just don't think video games is a great place to tell good stories. It's not completely immersive like that. And they have to juggle around like It's half entertainment, half story.
Yeah. Well, in that point of view, isn't like books just the old? Like, why do you play anything? Why not just read a book all the time? Because books are like, you get inside the characters' heads, you get inside other characters' heads.
But even books are greater than just a storytelling medium. Like, there are books that don't have stories, like non-fiction books.
You're talking about math books?
Picture books.
You're talking about textbooks, right?
There's all sorts of different types of books, like biographies or histories.
No, I know. But I'm saying I'm getting into the audiobook game.
Yep.
And I've heard really compelling audiobooks.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That surpass everything I've encountered in video games.
So have I.
Do you see where I'm going with
I know
this?
where you're going.
So, in terms of video game stories, I just don't think it's there yet. And I think a lot of people would agree with me if they try to take their...
I mean, if that's the caliber that you're comparing it to, then yeah.
There's
Right,
always
so
room
that's
to
what
improve.
that's how I go about measuring this shit. We're not there yet.
So you're like, it wasn't Moby Dick. I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's that... Dude, video games are starting to do that now. Like, the last Uncharted, a lot of it was visual storytelling.
Right.
This whole idea of, like, walking through an environment
Mm-hmm.
and just picking up narrative just from looking around is becoming a thing. The storytelling elements of video games is not there yet. There's no established
I
thing.
think, like, talking about something like Gone Home, I think that you can sort of, with a game like that, you can get to the feeling of an experience faster than you can in a book, you know? Like that intro in Gone Home, you know, where you're dealing with your wife's illness and stuff.
You're talking about Firewatch.
Yeah, what did I say?
Gone Home.
Oh, yeah, Gone. Firewatch.
Yep.
Yeah. Very similar games, though. But yeah, in Firewatch, when you're dealing with, you know, your wife's sickness,
You're just reading that thing.
yes, but I don't think you can get to that point. And you're walking around and you're feeling it. You're like you're walking through this forest and you're just like reflecting on the decisions that you've made.
Yep.
If you had that in like a story based, like if that was the intro to a book, you'd be like, that's pretty sad. But I don't think you'd have that same emotion. So I think games can sort of tap into that emotion maybe faster, or because it's a visual thing, maybe like a little easier than books can.
Yeah.
I mean, books will get there through story, you know, but
there's a
games
huge...
can get there faster, I think.
For me, I'm just not a strong reader, which is why books are such a turn-off for me.
Right.
Like, I'm very... If you gave me a documentary on, like, World War II, and then, like, textbooks on World War II, you know I'm going to go to, like, the movie. Because I just know it's more immersive. There's more visual storytelling going on. I can understand it easier.
Is that just, like, you don't want to... Yeah, is that just you don't want to read?
Yeah.
Because like, there's games...
I'm not a strong reader.
There's definitely games that have had... that I've heard have great stories, like Pillars of Eternity, but I'm confronted with a wall of text when you talk to characters in that game, and I'm like, I just can't do this.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's how video games do it. That's the modern way of telling stories. You walk up to a guy, you find an audiobook, you bloody play a thing while you walk around to another thing. It's not great. It's not immersive. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Firewatch was smart about it.
Yeah.
They gave you a walkie-talkie.
I mean,
so when you were walking around, you got personality from the other end.
Maybe
of that
that's the thing.
walkie-talkie.
Firewatch was like the standout of those.
Yeah, and I remember talking about it. I was saying that walkie-talkie was such an important element of that game because when you were just walking around, you just had someone talking at you.
Yeah. I mean, it gave you something to do, and it would also you got something about those characters while you're doing that thing without being like, okay, now's the time where I click on this person and they tell me their backstory.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you prefer if games had less story?
It depends on the game. Like, what's an example? Like, if I want an Unreal Tournament first-person shooter, I feel like give me a setup. I don't need much story.
Don't you want to know their tragic backstories?
Not really. I don't need to.
How will you feel that emotional connection when you frag a fool?
How do you feel about optional story content? For example, Unreal Tournament. Like, even if it has a bunch of backstory, if it's not forcing you to read through it, you find that,
dude,
like, optional stuff.
I really don't care. Like, I like if I'm playing Unreal Tournament, I'm just going in there to kill some guys.
Yeah,
but I know other people are probably looking for that.
It depends on.
So it's cool because it caters to a broader audience.
It depends on the game, right? Like, maybe Unreal Tournament is not the game where people are looking for a deep, meaningful story, but like I think let's talk about Grand Theft Auto.
Let's do it.
Like, great story, but they were very smart that they gave you a character that's a maniac. So if you just wanted to fuck around for a while, you play as that guy, and it doesn't feel like a weird disconnect.
Sure. Yeah, it caters to that, but yeah, that's fine too. I don't praise Grand Theft Auto story. I don't like that game for its story. You know, but I know people love like Witcher for its story.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and they love mission structure.
Yeah.
That The Witcher does. These are cool things that you can do in video games. You know, you can have branching structures. Books don't really do that. Movies can't really
I think that is what video games are good at, is that when you do have those sort of branching things, it then becomes your story. And I guess there's choose your own adventure books, but there's only so many pages you can, put in a book.
Yeah, and physically turning pages is just not cool.
Forget that. That's I want to swipe.
Yeah, it's 2017.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about video game stories. I am hopeful because it's everything, man. It's
what
audio, visual, interactive. It should be better, but like there's a balancing act.
What is the book that you're comparing these stories to, or is it just books in general?
Books in general.
Okay, so you're not like, this ain't Game of Thrones.
No, I'm just talking about mediums.
Yeah.
And like video games are still figuring it out. No one's done it well yet. And it's weird because like the goalpost is constantly moving. But I think everything's sort of on the table. In terms of like, yes, we can play audio.
Yeah.
Triggering events is pretty easy. But it's a thing of like, who's going to do it right? Who's going to do it well? And of course the story matters as well.
Well, I think games have now evolving to that point where like you do kind of want to be thinking of putting a decent story in your game. I mean, depends. I mean, it does like seriously, it does depend on the game. But like take Mortal Kombat 9, right? There was like fighting games have been fine with no story for a long time,
right?
And then they put this story in there. I mean, maybe it's not the greatest story, but it like works seamlessly with the fight, coming into the fight scenes, and it just sort of gives you something you didn't really know you wanted,
Yeah, we kind of talked about this last time.
Yeah, we did. I know.
And like, yes, I agree. There are people who want story.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people.
Right.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? Were you going to play Mortal Kombat ever?
No.
Okay, but are you more interested in it now because you always reference it?
What, twice? I referenced it twice.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, are you interested in playing it now?
I'll tell you what. The last Dishonored game, which did the same storytelling stuff,
Yeah.
I didn't play it, but I did watch like a YouTube video of all the cutscenes, and it was like a pretty decent. Like, it was a decent story, It was fun.
Dude, even with The Last of Us, I've seen guys break it down and say you could almost remove all of the gameplay,
Right?
and just play cutscene after cutscene, and that's
still good. That's good.
That's enjoyable. Yeah, the story is really compelling.
Yeah.
Is that meant to be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
Yeah.
you get the same story. It doesn't need to be a video game. You see what I'm saying?
So if the story's too good, it doesn't need to. It should be a book.
But it's weird because like video games have these weird restrictions. You can't release a full game without having 15 hours of content. Like there are these things that people really rage about. So there's like this weird requirements of a video game.
Dude,
as well.
that's definitely like a cultural thing. Like when I was playing Firewatch, a friend of mine, like I mentioned it to a friend that I've been playing Firewatch, and he goes like, "That's barely even a game."
Yeah,
because it's
that's
like
3 hours of content.
Yeah, 3 hours. It's no shotgun.
Yeah, so this is like bullshit. These are weird things that society puts on video games, man.
Yeah, it is, man. It's society. Society keeping us video game developers down.
That's why Gone Home. I haven't played Gone Home, but I hear there's some story in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Firewatch I love for that reason.
Yeah.
Like I don't put these weird notions of like video games have to be this and that.
Unless if it's not 60 hours of content, I'm not. If I'm not walking around that Firewatch forest for 60 hours, it's not worth my money.
Like with Destiny, do you think people really like? Do you think the majority of their audience cares about story in there, or do you think they just want to pick up loot?
I mean, I think there are definitely games where story is just like the icing on the cake kind of thing. Like it's just a framework to go from mission to mission, and something like Destiny that's like multiplayer focused. It seems to be just, like my experience with Ark. It's just mates getting together and killing some stuff and having a good time.
Yeah,
and the story just sort of connects the missions together.
Would it be real crazy if you were playing Ark and then like a little girl just happened to run on the field and you were just like
I'd lose my
blinded
mind.
and started just shooting at this thing, and then it was like it just paused and was like, you murdering mother. Like, do you see what you've done?
Yeah. A mirror just comes up and says, murderer, you're the real monster.
Take a hard look at yourself.
Yeah.
Did you guys play Spec Ops: The Line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Extra Credits did a really good breakdown of that, because there are a lot of callbacks to books and things, just turning it back on you.
It was based on a book, wasn't it?
I think it was
the main story.
Yeah, well, the guy at the end is referenced. Yeah. It's been so long since I played that game. That's like a 2010 game or some shit.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was thinking of particularly the very last scene. I mean, spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Comrade, what's his name?
Actually, I was thinking
Colonel something.
Not the final guy. The point where you're rescued at the end. Do you remember that part?
I never played it.
I've forgotten it. You have to remind me.
So, I mean, maybe it was just me, but the whole story leads up to this point where you finally get rescued by some like friendly soldier guys, allied, and yet you feel like shooting them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, because they're just as bad as...
Well, you've just spent the whole game shooting soldiers who were on your team but have kind of gone feral, right?
Right.
And then by the end of it, when the cavalry comes in to save you, it's like you feel like you have to shoot them even though they're here to rescue you.
Yeah.
And in fact, you can.
Oh, wow.
Like, you don't have to put down your gun and walk away. You can literally go nuts. And yeah. I think the story played strongly into that.
It was good. I remember Extra Credits, the YouTube guys, doing a really good breakdown of the Spec Ops story. But my point is, video games aren't there yet. That's what I mean. Like, it's not there. Stories, I would like good story.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it. Blake's got the shit-eating grin.
You don't seem like you're a big fan.
What's that?
You don't seem like you're a big fan.
Because it's not there yet.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
So you want video games to be better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love the medium. And this segues into the next part of Travis Stide's question. And he says, also, it's so frustrating to hear someone make statements like, everything's garbage right now. It's like looking at a fridge stuffed full of food and going, man, there's nothing to eat. I'm constantly looking at thousands and thousands of hours of gaming I'd love to do, but we'll never have the time for it because there just aren't enough hours in the day to do it all. I can't help but feel like someone who can make that statement is a gamer who just doesn't really like video games. And again, it's just me defending myself, man. I love the tech. This is why I don't care about The Witcher.
Oh, man.
The video game thing, this is a question that was posted like back in episode 59, so a month ago.
Yeah, holy crap.
The games that came out around then were Mass Effect Andromeda. I'd still been playing Horizon. Zelda came out. Yeah, there wasn't...
if I can defend you
go for
a
it.
second. I think the thing is, you have a very particular taste of games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if games that meet your criteria aren't out, then it feels to you that there's nothing decent to play, right? Like, even though there may be like a million games on Steam that you could play at any point, it's like, okay, to use Travis's fridge metaphor, it's like you really feel like eating pizza.
Yeah.
All right. You're like, man, I just love pizza.
Yep.
You open the fridge, it's full of food, but there's no pizza, and you're like, it's nothing to eat.
Yep. But also, like, I don't look at a game like The Witcher and say, oh my god, it's 1,000 hours of this one video game. I have to play it. I will look at it, see what that game's doing, and I will make notes of it. It does quest structure, right? Things like that.
Yeah.
Visually, I don't think it looks very good.
I think
that's how I feel.
Yeah.
And Blake and I have talked about this game.
We've had an entire podcast, episode devoted to it.
But I don't need to play 1,000 hours of a video game to get what it's doing. I don't need to play World of Warcraft to know that it's a jogging simulator.
Right? No, I don't think Travis is saying that 1,000 hours in one game. I think he's saying like across multiple games. He's just there's thousands and thousands of hours, and that's what I'm saying is that you might not be interested in playing just those games. You're just like, I want to play games that are like GTA.
Yeah, but also when you say that, I feel like I need to qualify and say, I want to see good tech used. I want to see smart things used. I want to see displacement maps, parallax occlusion maps. I want to see all this cool tech.
LODs.
I want to see LODs,
I want to see some good, or maybe not see LODs because that means they're working working well, right?
Yeah, I want to see more shit on the screen. That is a good video game in my opinion. Because I can talk to. I remember talking to you, Rhys, actually, about Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
And you were saying, holy shit, that epilogue. That was full motion video, you thought, right?
I honestly thought it was.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, that not at all. That's all 3D. And I could link you to like images of still renders of those assets.
Sure.
And it was awesome to talk to you because you believed it. You thought it was fucking real.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But to me, that whole thing is everything's baked out. All the light maps are baked out. It's not actually that impressive.
Oh, is it because it's a?
It's static. It's a static environment.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, it's like a render at that point. It's like a Pixar thing. You just.
Yep.
But
the way video games are streaming content now, it's like, hey man, if I've got corridors, like just hide a loading screen over there. You can put whatever. There's no dynamic sun. There's no dynamic lights. There's ambient occlusion on the character that you're playing as, but there's nothing else going on in that scene. It looks amazing, but visually it's texture maps. So and like Naughty Dog are really good at rendering. So
just a question about that scene in particular, which is, I think this after the credits.
The epilogue.
Trying not to spoil anything
yeah, dude,
here.
because I haven't played it and I'm looking forward to playing it in the future.
if I say the kid on the couch with the dog.
Oh no!
Right?
Sorry, Blake.
For some reason, that particular scene seemed way more real than any of the previous stuff in the game.
Okay.
Is there a reason for that from a technical perspective?
I think if I loaded that image now and showed you, I don't think you would have that same opinion. And
is it a byproduct of playing the Crash Bandicoot PS1 version?
Possibly, yes. That contrast might be a thing of, the same thing happened with me when you first play Crash Bandicoot and then it cuts to the couch.
Yeah,
and you just see really good, acting.
Dude, I looked up that scene because you were raving about it, and I was like, this is incredible,
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
but again, but you're not looking at virtual cap. Well, you are, of course you are, but everything's mocapped. Everything's been painstakingly animated. The rendering's on point. You're not controlling anything. You're at that point pretty much watching a movie. It's this console just rendering a thing. You can't move the camera So it's
it's
virtually
it's a controlled thing. It's a movie.
It's a movie made with in-game assets. Right. So that's what's happening there. And going back to some of the E3 stuff, if you look at Anthem, looks incredible. There's a little bit of Uncanny Valley at that start marketplace.
I need to rewatch that because I watched that at work, and so I was kind of like second screening it and not giving it full attention. But because it was only afterwards somebody reminded me, like, oh yeah, remember the faces on the last BioWare game? I was like, oh yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, I'd dismiss that, but I've said it in previous episodes that visuals in video games we can make shit look real. Mm-hmm. Like that's a thing we've been able to do since The Last of Us, right? And then it's just keeping up with 4K and all the new tech coming out. We're at that point where things need to move realistically.
Yeah.
And so if Horizon, you run around, there are certain blades of grass that just won't move when you run past it. And this is a big deal because you imagine there are thousands of grass blades on the ground. Mm-hmm. Performance-wise, you wouldn't even bother. Yeah. That's just something, that's a luxury thing. But when we reach that point, it means we've made this step technologically that we can simulate that kind of stuff. And then we'll be moving to the next thing.
Talking about Horizon, like, you probably noticed that there are, when she jumps, she has a weird, like, stomp down thing that seems really weird, especially when you're like trying to climb over rocks and she's just like jump, stomp, stomp.
She's really hitting the earth.
yeah. It's really weird. And after playing like, you're gonna give me shit for comparison, but after playing like Zelda, right? Which I mean, it's a one-off looping animation, but that climbing everything, it just felt really weird. Where like you run up to a thing in Horizon and you just are jump stomping your way up to the top of something instead of a more natural like scramble or something. But she does do a scramble sometimes, but not like only in very particular like times, like places. You know?
So when I was watching Anthem being played, I was just looking at grass and like the environment.
Yep.
The only part where the environment moved was, I think he flies under like a hanging vines, and then you watch it move, and if you look at it moving, you can actually see where it's segmented. That's how low fidelity that environmental stuff is.
Yeah.
And that matters to me, right? It shows, like, a lot of people are putting a lot of attention into characters, monsters, environments, right? It looks really good. It like the rendering's on point, but that moving is just the next step.
It's also like that game. It sort of looked like it was quite open world. Like there was a shot where he jumps, or whoever it is, jumps off like this big wall and then sort of flies down and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And heaps of the area is like jungle, but they seem to be following this like clear path where there's not much like foliage or anything. But if it's truly open world, like if you went off into the jungle, I mean, when you're intersecting with like static leaves, it's gonna look bad, you know? So, I don't know. It's just like, it's an E3 demo, so you don't actually know 100% what you're really getting.
But yeah, again, that game, to me, comes across as a Destiny-like video game. And again, I don't care for a Destiny-like video game, so it looks incredible compared to Destiny.
Yeah.
But I won't be playing it because that will be one of those 1,000-hour games.
You can play it single player, I've heard.
Oh.
Like, it does have a single player, like, some sort of...
So you're looking for a high-quality AAA, great graphics game that's also not very long? Or
yeah, I'm waiting for the next Order, 1886 game.
with decent gameplay and like a really good story, like
just 6 hours of content will do me.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking for new experiences in video games.
Okay.
A lot of what I see coming out right now is first person shooter, MMO. It's more of the same.
You want a new genre.
I think the open world space is attractive right now, especially when Zelda just came in there and like shook everything up.
Dude, that Zelda game, it's bloody good.
Have you been playing that, Rhys?
No,
No?
I've not played Zelda.
Okay.
You tempted to?
I watched my flatmate play it for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm fairly familiar with the basic concepts, I guess. But
Yeah. But there's no huge monster slaying in that and gear
Yeah.
progression, so you just turned off.
I'm not a super fan of open world games.
Oh, really?
personally.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why is that?
Like-
What don't you like about open world games?
I mean, the same thing with like Skyrim or Minecraft or whatever. Like having a massive open world to explore is not inherently appealing to me.
Is that because you're
I'm
not
sure
guaranteed?
It can be, I mean, I'm sure it can be fun. I could have a few hours of fun exploring that, but I don't feel any compulsion. Like I don't think I would spend dozens of hours, let alone hundreds, exploring that kind of thing.
Is that because you're not really guaranteed to have an interesting like interaction? Like if you just wandered off into the mountains, you're not guaranteed to find anything of interest, kind of thing. Like at least with a more narrative thing, you're getting this, you're getting a story, you're getting action, you're getting stuff,
I guess for whatever reason, I prefer slightly more goal-oriented games.
Right.
Where there's something to do, something to collect or kill or whatever, like some sort of quest, even if it's not particularly linear, even.
Yeah, I can understand that in like games like Minecraft and survival games, because I played a lot of those, but again, they're only fun when you have friends and you make your own goals. Like if you're in it in your own, you're like, what am I doing?
Grand Theft Auto is kind of a mix of the two, because you can focus on the story missions if you want, right? Mm-hmm. But there's also pretty much infinite possibility to just mess around.
Yeah, man, and the online is definitely like an example of that.
I say this having only played GTA 3, by the way.
Oh, wow. You're missing out, man. So there you go, Travesty. I'm not sure if these answers are sufficient for you, but I'm very particular with video games, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can say I'm not a true gamer.
Well,
like
I think as you get older, you have less time, and therefore you're a bit more picky about how you choose to spend your gaming time. Maybe
you do get this weird. As you get older, you do get this weird like inverted thing where when you were young, you had infinite amount of time and no money. And now you have more money and no time.
Yeah, it used to be really cared about like how much game time you got out of a game, because maybe you'd only get one game for Christmas or something.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I remember like that's when I cared about, is this a 60-hour game or not? Because if it's not, I'm not gonna play it. But now it's like I don't care. It's a 4-hour game, like give that to me. It's way better. I can actually finish it.
All right, I think we should wrap it up here. We're gonna have another episode after this one. It'll probably be a bonus episode, yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, this is news to me.
I'll wrap this up.
Awesome.
Get on it. If you have questions, maybe you don't like my answers. Hey, get back to us on frontseatquestions@gmail.com. We're at Front Seat Cast. We're on Facebook, WordPress, and YouTube. Just search for us. If we're not on top, then we haven't done our jobs properly.
Dude, you know what's cool? On YouTube, when we first started, I would type Front Seat Gamer, and nothing would come up. Some other bloody channel called Front Seat Gamer will come up. Mm-hmm. Now, type Front Seat Gamer, we come up straight away. Boom, top.
Yeah, but Google does that real smart search thing where, like, if you're clicking on things that you want to search for.
Oh, wait, you're saying it's because I've searched for Front Seat Gamer?
Yeah, search history,
it knows what you're wanting. So,
no.
Google knows what you
we
want.
don't know if
Really?
that's a real thing.
Okay.
Open an incognito.
I think I've tried it in incognito, and I live in incognito mode.
I'm on incognito the ride, man.
Yeah.
All right, rate us on iTunes. We're also a member of the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Hashtag AGPN on Twitter. All right, see you later.
All right, see ya.
Thanks for having me.
We need more Nick bashing on the episode.
Don't be mean to Nick.
How do you feel about Nick, Rhys? Real talk.
as a person.
As a human being,
He's fine.
But as not a person, how do you feel about it?
as not
So-
a person.
Often on Wednesday nights, Nick and I go out to a pub quiz.
Oh yeah, right.
So we hang out there. And
You're in on the pub quiz?
pub quiz, man.
Have you schooled up on rugby questions?
Has
Has anyone taken that?
You guys just
No.
constantly lose at sports questions.
We lose at sports questions so badly.
How well do you do at programming questions?
There's never any programming
Oh,
questions. Almost never.
What kind of pub is this?